This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. The dam of Republican leadership support for Kamala Harris is about to break all over Donald Trump. We've got some new reporting, and it's shaken Donald Trump to his core. And maybe Fox News is starting to quietly quit the Trump campaign because they were one of the first ones to publish a new letter written by over 11 former White House lawyers for Republican administrations, led by J. Michael Luttig and one of my law partners, Nicholas Rostow, who signed along with 11 others who used to work for everybody from Reagan through both Bushes to say that Donald Trump presents a clear and present danger to this constitutional republic, that he's unfit for office, and that they're not just not voting for him as lifelong Republicans, they are voting and endorsing Kamala Harris because they see it as a binary choice. There's only one person in the race that's fit for office. In their view, there's only one party in the race that's fit for office, and that's the Democrats. Adam Kinzinger said it right at the Democratic National Convention, one of several Republicans or former Trumpers to give speeches at the convention for a reason, when he said voting for Kamala Harris is not what a Democrat does, it's what a patriot does. And that's what these 11 or so new lawyers, again, shout out to my law partner, Nicholas Rostow, who also signed this letter. Now, this group has banded together in the past, and they've filed a number of amicus curiae, friends of the court briefs with the United States Supreme Court, urging them to do the right thing, which they often did not do, to stop Donald Trump's assault on our constitutional republic. And to stop what Judge Luttig has said on my show during interviews with me, as he saw it as the unsouling of America. Well, now they're standing up. They're getting off the sidelines, and they're getting rid of the Republican stripes. They're donning their patriot capes, and they are endorsing Kamala Harris. Let me read to you, and this is going to be odd. I'm going to read to you from the Fox News website, because they're the ones that sort of broke the story. Here it is right here. White House lawyers who advised Reagan Bush endorse Harris over Trump in 2024 showdown. I mean, this is just news for them, written by Paul Steinhauser for Fox News. But the fact that Fox News is even running this, a Rupert Murdoch owned and controlled media outlet, is remarkable. Listen, I'll just read it almost straight from Fox News. A dozen Republican White House lawyers who served in the administrations of then Presidents Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush are endorsing Kamala Harris in her race against GOP nominee, former President Donald Trump. Quote, here's how the letter starts. We endorse Kamala Harris and support her election as president because we believe that returning former President Trump to office would threaten American democracy and undermine the rule of law in our country. That is a remarkable statement by 11 or so men who took an oath to support the Constitution and protect and defend, and to support the presidency under Republican administrations. This letter came out after the DNC closed, and I think the timing of it was just exquisitely chosen by these Republican leaders and lawyers. The signatories to the letter, as Fox News reports, quote, we urge all patriotic Republicans, former Republicans, conservative and center-right citizens, and independent voters to place love of country above party and ideology and join us in supporting Kamala Harris. For them, this goes deeper than party. It's not red versus blue. It's red, white, and blue. These are people who, since they were in law school, have fought to and are scholars around defending the Constitution, our constitutional republic, and our democracy. And they see Donald Trump through that lens, those eyes, those wise eyes, as mandarins of the Constitution, if you will, and of our republic. To say this person is a clear and present danger to our constitutional republic, to our way of life, to our democracy, and the choice is binary. You must vote for Kamala Harris to save our country. That's not some fevered pitch from the Democratic National Convention or the Kamala Harris website, or even from MeidasTouch. That's from Republicans and conservatives who are worried about this country. The letter noted the following: Donald Trump's own vice president, Pence, and multiple members of administration and White House staff, John Bolton, ambassador to the United Nations, thumbs up on that, even Bill Barr, Attorney General, and many, many others, including those that all testified to the Jan 6 committee, many of them voluntarily, all the White House counsel there, have already declined to endorse his reelection, they noted. Those signing the letter point to what they called the profound risks presented by Trump's potential return to public office. Indeed, Trump's own Attorney General, Bill Barr, and National Security Advisor have said unequivocally that Donald Trump is unfit for office, dangerous, and detached from reality. This is, again, reported by Fox News. And pointing to the then president's attempts to reverse the results of the 2020 election, the letter continues. Trump's attempt to prevent the peaceful transfer of power after losing the election proved beyond any reasonable doubt his willingness to place his personal interests above the law and values of our constitutional democracy. And that's all these guys care about, our constitutional democracy and the protection of it. We cannot go along with other former Republican officials, the letter continues, who have condemned Trump with these devastating judgments, but are still not willing to vote for Harris. We believe this election presents a binary choice, and Trump is utterly disqualified. And they charged Trump with, again, this is from the Fox News report of the letter, that Trump was guilty of grave wrongdoing to our Constitution, democracy, and rule of law, and who remains unfit. Trump remains unfit, dangerous, and detached from reality. This is signed by just so you know, besides J. Michael Luttig, Sixth Circuit Appellate Judge, he'd be, to put this clear, before 2020, his face would have been chiseled into the Mount Rushmore of Federalist, conservative, Republican judges, constitutional scholars. I mean, there's no other way to put it. This is who. Let me give you the signatories for this because I think that's important as well. I'll give it to you from Fox News of the letter and the letter alphabetically. John Bellinger, Senior Associate Counsel and Legal Advisor under George Bush. Phil Bradley, Deputy Counsel to Reagan. Benedict Cohen, Associate Counsel to Reagan. Peter Keisler, Associate Counsel to Reagan. Robert Kruger, Associate Counsel to Reagan. John Mitnick, Associate Counsel, President and Deputy Counsel, White House Homeland Security Counsel under Bush, W. Bush. Alan Rawl, Associate Counsel to the President under Reagan and General Counsel, Office of Management and Budget under Reagan and H.W. Bush. Nicholas Rostow, yay, my law partner, Special Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs and Legal Advisor to the National Security Council under Reagan and H.W. Bush. By the way, I interviewed Nick Rostow about the Mar-a-Lago case about a year and a half ago here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. Little plug for Nick. Peter J. Rusthofen, Associate Counsel to the President under Reagan. David Waller, Senior Associate Counsel to the President under Reagan, and Wendell Wilkie II, Associate Counsel to the President under Reagan. What kind of night is it? Is it a single? A double? A triple? I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about Sol's out-of-office microdose THC gummies in 3 strengths. Plus no hangover. Out-of-office gummies come in 1.5 milligram, 3 milligram, and 6 milligram doses, and 3 delicious flavors. We love them for clearing your inbox, winding down after work, or listening to your favorite podcast like Legal AF, or heading out to a party. Raise your gummies, not your glasses. This podcast is sponsored by Sol. Sol's new out-of-office gummies are perfectly microdosed with hemp-derived THC and CBD to give any day that chillin' on the beach vibe. Did you know you can now buy hemp-derived THC products in all 50 states? So how can Sol send you THC products no matter where in the U.S. you live? Because of the 2018 Farm Bill, hemp-derived THC is now legal and accessible nationwide. Out-of-office gummies gives you that warm, fuzzy, euphoric microdose feeling without sending you to the moon. The Sol team suggests you start by eating half to 1 gummy, then wait 45 minutes to 1 hour to start feeling the effects. Micro doses of THC keep me feeling good without the anxious thoughts. And that's not all Sol's got. Whether you're looking for a sleep aid, enhanced focus, or pain relief, Sol has all your wellness needs covered. So give Soul a try. Head to getsoul.com and use code LegalAF for 30% off your order. That's 30% off your order using code LegalAF. One last time, getsoul.com and code LegalAF for 30% off. Think of these people that have gotten off the sidelines into our participatory contact sport of protecting our democracy. And who better situated than people who swore an oath to support the presidency? These are presidential and constitutional scholars all, and Republicans and conservatives and members of the Federalist Society that are telling America the bridge is out ahead on the Trump road and you're hurtling towards it at 100 miles an hour and you should stop the car, pump the brakes. And that there's only one choice, not because they wanted to vote for a Democrat, because they see no other choice and they're not going to be cowards of history. Cowards of history and just say, we can't support Trump, but we're not going to vote that day. No, they're endorsing Kamala Harris as the only protector of the beacon of our democracy and our constitutional republic. There is no other choice. You are fooling yourself. For those that still remain on the fence, get off the fence. For those that are still undecided, start to decide. For those that say they're independent and they're going to wait till the very last minute, you're at the very last minute. And the choice is clear. If you don't believe me, believe other Republicans who see Donald Trump for what he is, the charlatan, the snake oil salesman, the two-bit union buster, the very small, unserious man that is Donald Trump, the incredible shrinking presidential candidate. He's shrinking before our very eyes. He went from, 6 foot whatever. Right now, he's about 3 foot tall and shrinking. And the sign of a desperate man deciding that his only way to win the presidency is to embrace and marry, or whatever they just did, JFK Jr. JFK Jr., nobody wanted him in the Democratic Party or the Independent Party because he's too crazy, too nuts, too wacko, too anti-vax, too conspiracy theorist. And that's who Donald Trump thinks is going to shore up his campaign, desperate for any vote he can find. Not going to help. That's not a drip, drip, drip of Republican support. It is a dam that is broken against Donald Trump. He's a drowning man. And all people are throwing him, rightfully so, are anvils and anchors. J.D. Vance, here. How's that helping your campaign? You're not very buoyant, if you ask me. If you thought J.D. Vance was a bad idea. So let me just end the hot take this way. Besides the fact that Fox News is obviously throwing an anchor at Donald Trump, let's just report as straight news the story of all of these Republican leaders against Donald Trump. That's the quiet quitting of Rupert Murdoch. Do you hear it? Let's just go through the three major decisions that you've seen Donald Trump do since whatever happened in Butler, Pennsylvania happened to his head. And I'm not even sure what that was. As I've joked before, I've seen people that have had ear piercing gone awry, that have had more bandages for a longer period of time and aftercare than what Donald Trump just had. But let's say whatever happened in Butler, Pennsylvania happened, just for you know what and giggles. Okay. He made 3 major decisions since that period of time. Okay. So if his noggin wasn't already rattled, here's the 3 major judgment calls that Donald Trump made since Butler, Pennsylvania. J.D. Vance as his selection, which will go down, I believe, as the worst pick of a vice presidential candidate as a last gasp chance to save a campaign since John McCain and Sarah Palin. I didn't think anybody could get worse than Sarah Palin. Apparently you can. And it's in the guise of J.D. Vance, or the disguise of J.D. Vance. That's one. The second major decision, right, was the convention. How to run the convention, what the convention would look like, right? And what was that S show that we just watched for that Republican convention? Or to paraphrase, since we're talking about Bush supporters, to paraphrase George W. Bush, that's some crazy S word going on there. That's what he said during the inaugural speech of Donald Trump back in 2016. Okay, so that's his second major decision, how to run that campaign. And his third was to embrace RFK Jr. I don't know if he made that decision after the bear cub killing, leaving it for dead in Central Park, or the brain worm, or the conspiracy theories, or any of that. I don't know. I'll tell you who's at the heart of two of those three decisions, at least, if not all three, is Don Jr. Don Jr. had a bromance with J.D. Vance, and he became vice president. Don Jr. brokered RFK Jr. after RFK Jr. was jilted by Kamala Harris. She said, no way. I don't need you or your votes or your craziness, and I'm not giving you a cabinet position. And then he came running over to Donald Trump. I just did a hot take on that. So none of this is going to help. And look at the Republicans now. What I think this letter has done, this letter by Judge Ludig and the others, including my partner, Nick Rostow, is to give license and permission to Republicans to be patriots again and reject MAGA without worrying about repercussions. That's what I think. It's giving license and permission to people to be patriots again, to love this country, and to have joy. Joy comes in the morning, as Psalms tells us. So we're going to continue to follow all of this. This won't be my last hot take on the issue of a senior Republican official endorsing Kamala Harris. And we'll continue to bring it on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. We sit at the intersection of law and politics, so you don't have to. We do a show. Here it is, Legal AF. See it? Can you see it? It's every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You like to watch your YouTube live podcast being recorded? Join us. And we'll also jump into live chat. You can watch us there and communicate with us there. You just like to listen to your podcasts? How old school. I like that too. Just plug in Legal AF wherever you get your podcast from, and we'll be there. And then I do hot takes like this about every day at the intersection of law and politics, or sometimes just politics, or sometimes just something that bothers me on the MeidasTouch Network right here. Free subscribe. Get this network with your bare hands and organically and by word of mouth. The 3 million free subscribers before Labor Day. I'm updating my request. It used to be Election Day. It's Memorial Day. Hello, where am I? It's Labor Day. Get them there. No outside investors. No, completely independent. No censorship, obviously. Nobody tells me what to say. I barely know what I'm going to say before I say it. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know, and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.